So the days are counting and the numbers are numbering and the things are going down and Mother Nature is going down. She sounded off. I get it. I don't get it, but I get it. So you sent me. I want him to know that his wife. I gotta tell it. Sorry, your wife was fucking a black dude. A
Good.
big black
Good.
back, big black
Good.
cock.
Back here. All right.
That's why when I rang the bell twice, she couldn't answer. You was at work or whatever. That's why y'all flexing your wives and your husband in front of my face is not a flex, because deep down I see what's going on behind the scene. And if he wasn't there and she wasn't doing it, oh honey, you should check her phone. Since you like gang stalking me, you should check her phone and see who she talking to. Because a lot of y'all be married on paper, but be cheating. The men be cheating with the sisters, the mother. Ugh. They will sleep with your mama, your sister, your best friend, your cousin. They will even sleep with the dog. Yep, I said it, the dog. And then the wives be sleeping with your brother. Well, I didn't get the brother, but she's sleeping with her brother, aka a melanated so-called black man, because black means bleached out and pale, lacking pigment, 3/4 humans, all that stuff is, so it don't mean. So she's sleeping with a Moor, let's say a Moor, right? She's sleeping with a big black, because that's what she wants. She want to get pounded out. And your best friend. I said it. She's sleeping with your best friend and your boss. Oh yeah, the boss. She sleeps with the boss so that way you can keep your job. See, I'm telling a lot of secrets. I'm dropping a lot of jewels right here, right now. She's sleeping with the boss, that way, your boss, that way you can keep your job. And although your boss might be married, because again, who don't want a big BBC? Is that what they call it? BBC. That's what they're doing. And I'm trying to keep it PG, but you get what I'm saying. So it's not a flex when these gang stalkers are doing what they're doing, especially Caucasian people. Caucasian Neanderthal people, it's in your DNA to have hate, to rape, to molest, to spread diseases. You look at your history way before slavery. Forget, that's what they teach us in school. That's what they teach them in school. And I'm grateful I don't have kids, because they only teach, well, you were prisoners of war. They don't tell us we were prisoners of war. They tell us we were slaves. We weren't slaves. If you're listening, we weren't slaves. We were prisoners of war. Okay? And just by them colonizers, and they came with their diseases, their rape and their pedophilia and their everything, and destroyed the continent. You know what I'm saying? All of America. This is clearly Babylon, and that's a whole nother subject. But this is the modern day Babylon, and what would happen will happen, right? Democrats has never been good for us melanated people. It was used for other melanated, well, they don't want to call themselves melanated, but it was for other immigrants to come in and take over, and to, again, remember the FBI, the CIA demolished our communities. We had so-called Black Wall Streets in just more than one place. I can't name them all right now because I don't have all of the facts in front of me. But if you want me to come with the facts, I will come with the facts and the truth. But the truth is, they killed our community. They bombed our community. The spook who sat by the door, they put my people against their own people. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's happening now. However, Again, I repeat, Democrats has never been good for our people. They made it seem like it was good for our people, but they were for immigrants. You know what I mean? The Haitians, the Jamaicans, the Africans, the Caribbeans, you name it, the Latinos. That was for them. It wasn't for us who has built this country. Right? Donald, come on, stop with the freaking acting, dude. I'm freaking recorded. It's rude. It's rude. You can stop with the acting. I already know who you are. You know who you are. Just stop with the acting. Anyway, so they did all of this to our people, oppressed our people, and then allowed other people to come in, open up businesses, teach your children, babysit your children, be a nanny for your children. And they had no good intentions, no right intentions of ever seeing us thrive, right? They put every other culture ahead of us, right? Every other people ahead of us. Although we built America, built our own communities, built our own land, and we were thriving and we were successful. But the envy in the colonizer, because that's what they are. That's why when these gangstalkers come and they're colonizers, the only thing I could do is laugh, because for me, it's like, wow, it's already in them to hate me. It's already in them to look at me and go against me. Europeans, Polish, they're not even the real Jews, okay? They're not really the Hebrew Israelites. However, you respect people and you give honor and love to people, but it's not good enough for them. I seen a couple of videos where the Hasidic so-called Jews, they're not even the original. Again, they're just Polish and Europeans, are spitting on Christians. Now, Christianity is that's not, even these pastors and these preachers, they're working for Zionist people, right? However, again, this is all run by a group of elite people who are narcissistic people, egotistical people. They don't know the Lord. They don't fear the Lord. They don't know Christ consciousness, but they know our history. And they need us to be divided. They need us to be confused. They need us to be uneducated and not know who we are, while they gang stalkers, while they harass us, while they set up organized crimes and all this stuff and take your children away from you because they want their bloodline, which is weak. Because imagine the son doesn't even like these people. How is it that the son don't like you? And they got the nerve to tell me that I need to put on sunscreen and suntan to block out the sun rays, when the sun would hit them and their skin will bubble. Their skin will bubble and boil. Then they send all these hateful, narcissistic people. No souls. They have no souls. Hold on, let me pause, because look at the demon right here. So anyway, that's the colonizer doing what they do. Just like how my melanated ancestors, indigenous ancestors, had their own community, made their own food, electricity, the things that we invented, the things that we have done. They will never give my people credit. But the minute my people start standing up and dividing themselves from that, it's a big problem. It's an insult to them. Because it's like, how dare you not respect me as a colonizer? How dare you not respect me? But if the sun doesn't even respect you, and when I say the sun, they gave us Christianity and religion, and they call it that. Jesus and Yahweh and Yahshua, that's not that. That is the sun. That is Amun-Ra. You have to look at history, and I've discovered that Maya dates way before Christianity. And yeah, Ethiopia, I have such a connection to Ethiopia, but I have a bigger connection to Maya. and universal law. And understanding that religion is used to control. You understand? Because even religious people, you would think that they would be good people. And at a young age, again, I said, I had a foster mother who was Jamaican. Horrible woman. She only went to church to compete with her sister. You know what I'm saying? Her husband had a decent, good job. He was a doctor, so she didn't have to work. She was a foster mother, but as a foster mother, you still get paid. She was competing with her sister. How are you going to church competing with your sister? I met many people who believed in Catholicism, very bad people, especially those Italians, very racist, very bad. The Irish, the Italians, the Polish, European, Jewish, Hebrew, Israelite thieves, identity thieves. That's what happened to them. They it's the organized religion, just like organized crime, right? So that is, I'm learning, like, as I'm just experiencing life, and you're realizing, like, wow, these people are very demonic people. They don't know God. They don't fear the Lord. They don't fear anything. You know what I mean? But they'll go and pay what he'd pay. Donald, how much did you pay for your teeth to get implanted? You don't know how much you paid for your teeth to get implanted? Because you bragged to me about how much you paid. You don't remember how much you paid? $20,000. He paid $20,000 and all of his teeth were falling out. So this is what I'm saying. That is not a connection to the divine. Because if you were divine, your teeth would have still been in. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't have paid $20,000. But then again, he fell for a bunch of Jezebel, succubus females. I don't know how beautiful they looked or whatever, but he fell for that because he was in lust mode. Again, he liked to get pinged in a booty hole. That's a lot of Caucasian people. That's in their nature, to get bent over, if you know what I'm saying. I'm trying to be, as PG as possible, but that's in their nature. And, the things that they did to my melanated people, if you understand the etymology of being buck up, and the term MFer, that was when they had the slaves have intercourse with their mothers, because that was their upbringings. Melanated people, we didn't do that. The Moors and indigenous, we didn't do that. Yes, they had the oldest profession in the world. However, it wasn't with their mother. But these people are so sick and twisted that they want you to be sick and twisted like them, that they will force you to do that. You know what I mean? If you get it, you get it. So again, I've come across, and then today I've ran across and in the last couple of days, I've ran across a couple of colonizers and descendants of slave owners, and I'm just like, wow, well, you're doing what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? It's in your DNA. And even when I was in the shelter, it was something in me. My ancestors just would not allow me. I gave respect, but my ancestors would not allow me to bow down and surrender to this Caucasian who was going out her way. And she had house slaves and field slaves that was bowing down to her. And me, I wasn't disrespectful. I was very respectful. I gave her what she gave me. And she had an attitude because she thought that I was supposed to bow down to her. She expected me to do what those other indigenous slave people did, which was bow down to her, protect her, and all that stuff, which is fine. She went out of her way and waited. I never knew people could do that. And then I was like, oh, I guess people actually do that. Like, they'll hold their stuff, and then at the right moment, when it's time, when you come, they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna let it all out, and I want them to smell it, and I want them to, it's like, okay, well, that's in you Sure, fine. I smell it. You mutilate babies, you drain their bloods, you do all kinds of stuff and bad stuff, bad stuff. And then if you see my other videos, she confessed she is a witch. There's no such thing as a good witch. That means you manipulate, and I told you when I was there, the guy, he waited outside the library until I came. Then went into the library, like the evilness that goes on inside of Babylon. Oh, it's like I see it. It don't affect me, but they get even more mad when you don't react. They get even more mad and aggressive when you just like, well, I see what you're doing and I know why you're doing what you're doing. And it's like, ugh. I mean, I got politicians coming after me, celebrities coming after me, people I don't know in different cults coming after me. And to me, I still don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand, overstand, understand. I got a cult of down low in the closet, Homo sapiens, antichrist energy coming after me. And I've done nothing, and no one could tell me what is the root cause. Who was it that made them be like, you know what, we're gonna go after her and we're gonna make her suicide herself so we can get paid, and then I know that the universe will be demolished after not the universe, but Earth, because I haven't met one decent, good human being. You know what I mean? The judges are in on it. Police are in on it. Politicians are in on it. The president is in on it. The vice president is in on it. There's nothing I can do because they have money. They don't have power. They have money to be able to oppress people and to gangstalk people and set up situation in their production teams and this and that. And even Tyler Perry. What do? How do you win? The only thing you keep doing is you keep on moving. Even pastors. The pastors is like, oh, you a goat. You're supposed to be a sheep. Why? Because I have a mind of my own. I'm not going to follow anybody else. I'm not going to copy anybody else. I might be inspired by somebody, absolutely. But I don't operate in jealousy. I don't operate in envy. But I thought it's just not natural to have jealousy and envy. But it seemed for the world, they're like, well, it's okay to be jealous and envious. I would never, if I ever had children or if I ever deal with children, I would never tell them that. That's not, you have to look at yourself and be like, why do you feel so hateful? Why do you feel so jealous? Why do you feel so insecure? You know what I mean? Because everybody is born with their own superpower. Everybody has love and they were born unconditional love. And it's still not good for them. You know what I mean? Like, you look at the parents and you're like, oh, okay, I understand the history. If you know how to psychoanalyze people. And then when you bow down to a narcissist and you're like, okay, fine, you won, it's still not good enough for them. They have to keep going. They have to keep going. And you're literally bowing down. You're literally saying, I surrender. And it's not good enough for them. Their ego has to overshadow you, and it's because they don't have no heart. They don't have no light. They were drained, and and instead of doing something great with that, they rather tear you down and make you one of them. But why would I become one of that? Why would I want to be anything like you? You know what I mean? That Caucasian woman, then the Caucasian man, he pushing it goes on and on. He was pushing my seat, and then on Greyhound, the Greyhound bus, they were all in on the gang stalking. I mean, all of them. For the minute I got to the Greyhound bus station, they know that. I'm not going to go into stories all about that. But the Caucasian man that I'm talking about was like, how did you know? When I woke up, I looked at the weather. But he comes and he stands behind me, and he goes, well, I got to look at the weather. Oh, I'm not going to live because I got a job. Okay. But your job is to gang stalk me, to follow me, and to follow the oppressor. You know what I'm saying? And the other Caucasian, again, I expect a Caucasian Neanderthal to be who they are. You know what I mean? They came with their rape, their colonization, their diseases, their pedophilia, you name it. You know what I mean? But when it comes to people who are my skin folk, they're not my kinfolk. It's like, it's funny because it's like, wow, you know how we got the same oppressors, right? You know, we got the same people coming for us, right? And it's like, no, they don't care because, well, Master was good to me, but Master ain't good to you. Whatever. How do you say it? If you know, you know. You know what I mean? But this is what I'm saying with people who are just nasty and disgusting all the way around. And the colonizers, that's what they are. That's what they're meant to do. Their witchcraft and their, it's like, dude, you think your witchcraft is gonna work on me? Look at Haiti. They did voodoo to gain independence. Do you really think that that's gonna work? And look at them now. So why your voodoo not working now? You had to come escape to America and gang stalk me. If it didn't work in Haiti, what makes you think it's gonna work here? You know what I mean? So it's a lot to unpack. But the only thing I could say is, Babylon, just leave me alone. Like, if you have any ounce of like, yo, I'm sounding the alarm, I have failed, let me try to at least make it right. All my life I've been bullied by Jamaican women. All my life. Jamaican men have raped me. Like, so, just my best, I'm just asking, just stay away from me. I don't want to know you people. I don't care about your music. Okay, it's great, it's catchy, I don't care. Even Bob Marley cheated on his wife, had a baby, and made her sing a song to his new baby mama and mistress. You telling me that's a melanated woman who loved herself? Nah, you couldn't have loved yourself if you stayed with but that's none of my business. But that's a prime example right there. Just stay away from me. My biggest bullies have always been Jamaican women, and I need you guys to just leave me alone, right? And then Haitians, well, I never met a Haitian, and I don't know what. You know, I look at your country, I look at your people, and it's like, oh, that voodoo ain't, I don't know about that voodoo-ish, right? Africans, I know a few good Africans, you know what I mean, but the whole continent has been colonized, and they didn't even overcome. That's none of my business. But my people here in America, we have overcome, we have fought, we have suffered, and we have done so much for this country. For you to come over here, and we're voting Democrat. Well, not me, but they're voting Democrats and allowing you to come over here thinking that you would help us and help us rise and all this stuff. And the only thing you're doing is helping us. Like, then stay in your country. If you're waving your flag, so wave your flag in your country. If your continent, your country, and your island is so much better than America, so then wave your flags there. Why come over here and wave your flags? I mean, if you think of it, it's not my business, but when you think of it, it's like, well, you come from Jamaica, you come to America, and you're waving your Jamaican flag. So you're so proud of your country. Why are you not there? Why are you not fixing it there? Why are you not becoming politics there? You know what I'm saying? But that'll go over a lot of people's head. They won't get it. But they'll choose to gang stalk me. They'll choose to harass me. They'll choose to do what he's doing, because he's a narcissist and he gaslight me, and he's been raping. Yes, I said it. He's been raping me since I was 17 years old. I probably was 16 years old. His sisters knew, his mother knew, his father knew, his friends knew, and his friends tried to rape me too. And again, I was 17 years old. They knew better, but they didn't care. You know what I mean? Because I was just a little NIGGA or ER, according to them, the hard R, and they didn't care. You know what I mean? Well, one thing about me is I cared. Sir, you are married. What are you doing trying to sleep with me? You know what I mean? But he didn't care because he probably was like getting around them and just stroking his ego like, yeah, she do this and she do that, you know. You know how guys are with their egos and just bragging about, and look, there he goes again, just like the typical gang stalker. All the gang stalkers, that's how I know. And I'm like, oh, well, the judgment day is here for you. So when I hear that, it's just like in my mind, I'm like, oh, okay, so now you're under judgment. What I'm supposed to say, oh, please don't do that? No, you're under judgment. You put yourself under judgment. You know what I mean? You're under Mayat. The scales have to be balanced spiritually. But again, the ego, the ego is a very powerful thing. It's a very sensitive thing, you know. A very sensitive thing, and they'll follow you. They'll gang stalk you. They'll try to do everything to get your attention, and it's like, well, if you got all of this and all that, why are you following me? You know, that to me. But that's what they left their land to do. They left their island. They left their land to do that. One guy this morning, he was like, oh, it's early in the morning. It don't matter if it was early in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening. Time is an illusion. So, sir, you're stuck in the matrix, which I understand. Fine. However, I would have talked to you whether it was in the afternoon, whether it was the evening, or the nighttime. I would have spoke to you the same way. Why are you talking to me? Didn't they tell you that I stink? That I'm hairy, my breath stinks, that I'm bipolar, that I have nothing, that I'm homeless, and you're still trying to talk to me? Why are you talking to me? There's no reason to talk to me. And then this one, ever since I was young, he made fun of how I spoke. He made fun of how I talked. Made fun of it. And now you hear him trying to imitate how I talk, and it's like, oh my God, that's how you think I sound? Oh, dude, if you're talking to people like that because that's how you think I sound, I don't sound like that. What are you talking about? It's like, dude, now when your tongue gets split and your fucking chest get fucking whenever what happens to you, it's because you think that you can tear me down for being myself, and then you're like, I'm going to be a better than you. And it's just like, no, you come from a Caucasian woman. Your sisters and your brothers are Caucasian, so why don't you continue to act like that? Why don't you continue to be like that? No, I want to be like you. Because you said that you don't like that. And it's like, dude, I've been done got over pet peeves. I'm looking at it like, well, what's wrong with you? I'm not even flattered. It's just like, well, what's wrong with you? And then you look back, how many brothers and sisters did you have? How did your mother and father treat you? What did they think of themselves? And then you're like, oh, well, that explains it. But I've never tried to be anything other than a melanated woman, a so-called black woman, which I'm so proud of, from New York. And then you hear him disrespect other people, and they're bowing down to him because he's old people, because he's an elder. But then you look at some elders and they getting abused and stuff, and I don't feel sympathy for them, because I'm like, I know you did some shit back in the days, because that's not God, that's the Lord. And I tell you this, I'm going to leave you on this note. A parent will never, should never, and by God's, by the goddess, by Maya, by universal law, you will never bury your child. You will that is not divine order. But if you had to bury your child, or your child comes out with the RE or AUT or DEA, you can catch on if you know what I'm saying. That means that person is not a human. They are not a good person. They are not a God person. They are ungodly people. Because even in the movie, my son won't bury me. I will not bury my son will bury me. That is universal law. So if the child comes out that, you got to look at that person. And if you don't want to look at that person, you want to feel bad and empathy and sympathy. No, it ain't even empathy. You want to have sympathy for them? Well, then you ride along in that same boat and that whole shit is going to crash. Have a good day. Take care.